if you have a ship
Yes.
and you replace the sails,
Yes.
is that the same ship?
Yes.
Or we could modernize it. So I have a car. I changed my tires. That's still my car, right?
Yeah.
What if then I also swap out the engine and the tires? Still the same car.
Yeah.
But what if over time, every year I'm switching something out? Like my door gets replaced, new windshield, new muffler, new transmission, everything is replaced, one piece at a time. At what point does that car stop being that car? Or does it ever?
I don't think it ever stops being your car. Like that car. Like the car.
Because the identity is something ephemeral, something that's not within those pieces.
I guess so. I'm worried about what I'm agreeing to right now. But yes.
And likewise, a person, our cells are replaced constantly. So some people say like, oh, all your cells are replaced every 7 years. I don't think that's actually true. I think that's an average because don't like your pancreas cells stay forever.
I still think that you're you.
Yeah, so your cells are replacing, but your fundamental Samantha-ness remains.
Always.
So then that kind of leads you to believe that what makes you you isn't necessarily your cells.
Right.
Your cells aren't what makes you you.
No.
It has to be something else.
Yeah.
Something more ephemeral. Something more in your experiences and what makes you you. Because Joni Mitchell would say, like, we're all stardust, man. Because all the elements in you were stars at some point.
Right.
Right? So that's fun.
Yeah.
But you're not a star. So your experiences make you you. So
Yeah.
then are you the same person that 10 years ago was called Samantha?
Yes and no.
So time makes more of a difference, you'd say, than the actual physical makeup of you.
I think so.
So if you gained 300 pounds or lost all your weight, you're still you, despite your physical.
Yes. I think it has less to do with physical than we think.
And then if a lot happens to you and you start really changing how you act and how you think, are you still you?
Oh man, this is like too philosophical for me now.
What is identity? What is the self?
I don't know.
What is the mind? No matter. What does matter? Never mind.
Oh wow.
That's a Homer Simpson original.
Oh wow.
But let's
Homer.
get into things.
Classic philosopher Homer.
But we're not going to talk about that. We are going to talk about the third Matrix movie, Matrix Revolutions. So welcome everybody to a very special episode of I Love This, You Should Too. My name is Indy, one piece at a time, Randhawa. And with me is my lovely co-host, who has always been Samantha Randhawa. But you weren't always.
No, I was Samantha Hees for a bit there.
You've been in many things.
Yeah.
Too many people. But are you still always you?
Yes.
So the only thing that could really determine your self is you.
Yeah.
The self is the only thing we could ever be sure of. And then we get back into Matrix 1 when it was still fun. Let's just move on because we got a lot to talk about this movie because I'm excited to podcast today. And you know why, Sam?
Why?
I want to get it out of the way.
Oh my God. Okay. Great. That's my favorite way to come into podcasting. Just get it out of the way.
So often, there are so many things I want to say about a movie, and I want to hear what you have to say. Today, I want to talk about this so I don't have to think about it more, because the more I think about it, the more frustrated I become.
The worse it seems. Yeah.
Maybe.
I might also agree with you.
So, these were your choice. We're doing all the Matrix movies. Go listen to the last 2 episodes. We don't have a big surprise between each other of what we thought of this movie because in a very rare one, doesn't happen a lot. Sometimes I'll be like, wow, that was amazing. When we watched The Witch, at the end I was like, you know what? This is better than I remembered. I love this movie. And I told you right there.
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself from complaining while this movie was still playing.
Often, yeah, we try and like just save it for the podcast. We try not to like talk about it after, but oh man, this one was like, I kept having to check in with you because I felt like I was missing like 90% of the information from the movie. And I was like, did I fall asleep for an hour of it? Did I like just not absorb any of the dialogue at the beginning? Like I had no idea what was going on for most of this. And then it was just like robot squids making robot noises and shooting. This movie, was it like 2 hours of nonsense?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
I think this movie reminds me the most of what being in a philosophy class is actually like. Because someone will say like something that's kind of smart, and then you're like, okay, go more. And they're like, oh, how about the opposite? And you're like, all right. How about this thing that one other guy said? And you're like, yeah, okay, but now you're just quoting things. You're not actually saying a thing. And then they're like, aren't I?
Oh, God, I went on some dates with some guys like that in university.
Yeah.
Who were like, oh, and I'm like, hey, that's just a quote from the textbook that we're both learning out of.
So I didn't even take the time to write down coherent thoughts. I took notes during it. Let's just go through things. Why not?
Great.
We start out, we're in that train system.
Yeah.
Who's that for?
Don't know.
So it takes people from the Matrix to the real world, or the other way? It does one of those.
Yes.
Why did the architect, I assume, create a special part that is a visual representation? When all of these things are ones and zeros, they are digital, they are programs. Why did they create a train platform for them?
I don't know.
That's only for humans.
Yeah. I was very annoyed when we started this movie and 5 minutes in, there was another male character with the title.
Oh, the train
The train man.
Train man. Oh,
it was
God,
like, great. Another man with the title. Because that's what this movie needed. So we have the Merovingian, the architect, the keymaker,
The Oracle,
and the train man.
Yep.
I'm like, cool. Yeah, this is what this needed, was like another really ambiguous person who does not matter. Great.
And the train station is mobile, and it's an anagram for limbo. Wow. That's so smart. Yeah, the train doesn't make sense. Why did they create that? They created the Matrix to keep humans occupied and enslaved. Why are they creating false realities for their programs to walk around in?
Yeah, that's...
Why do programs need to walk around your computer program?
Yeah, why do programs need to be a family?
Why are programs having kids? How are programs having kids?
How are they being a family unit? And why do they need to be a family unit?
How is it that a program is like, oh, you speak of love. Love is just a word to us. We are programs. We don't have that. I love my daughter so much.
Yeah,
like, which one is it?
Like,
which one is it?
Those are just words, but I also use those words to mean something, but it's just a word. This whole scene was so annoying.
All of these programs are just people.
Mm-hmm.
They always talk about like, oh, we're not like you people with your flesh and your feelings, and oh, I love punching stuff and it makes me angry. So you have no feelings, but you're constantly enraged.
But you constantly have feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make up your mind, Smith. You have feelings or no feelings?
All of them. So I really don't know how to do this episode. I wish we could just play the movie and each line I could just go, here's why that makes no sense. And it's not in the sense of, because there's going to be a lot of people who are like, oh, you didn't get it. It's like, no, I think I do get it. And the more you get, the more you realize that they didn't get it.
That's like nonsense. Yeah.
It's just so contradictory constantly.
Yeah.
So that's a simple one. They're always talking about how humans and machines are so fundamentally different. How?
Yeah.
Humans can go in and out of the Matrix and the real world. Now we know machines can too. Agent Smith's walking around. They all have emotions. They're all jealous. They all fall in love. They can all have children. So there's really no difference. What
They're
is
all
this even
making
all
choices, which apparently you can't make.
Choices. All they talk about is how much robots are all about determinism and humans are free will, and that's what separates them. And Smith comes out at the beginning and in the last movies, and he's so much of sequence of events, or the Merovingian as well. They're all about how cause and effect, that's all that matters. There is no choice. They're determinists, they're fatalists, everything. And the Oracle too. The Oracle's a fatalist because fatalism is everything's predetermined.
Yeah.
And she quite literally predetermines things constantly. And Neo is like, I'm free will. That's the thing that's different about him over all of the other ones. He has the choice to go and save Trinity. But in the end, he does exactly what he was determined to do in the first place.
And he does do the reboot. Running to the Oracle to find out what he should do.
Yes.
Like
he's Mr. Free Will, who it turns out does exactly what was predicted in the first place every time.
Yeah.
He always does what was predicted. And then Smith is about determinism. And then in this one, he's all about nihilism and saying that everything ends and that's all that matters. And he's the destroyer. And then he's the only one that's making choices because he can now see the future and goes, no, that's not what's going to happen. I'll do this. Aha. And this is Hugo Weaving's worst performance. Is he
a good actor in other things?
I thought he was good in part one of these movies.
Yeah, he really pushed hard into this character.
He was just, there's chewing the scenery, and this guy is just devouring it when he's in that last speech where he's just yelling and baring all of his teeth.
Well, literally, because you can see his teeth the entire time. Yeah. You can see every single one of his teeth the entire speech. It's awful.
Okay, well, now I'm just complaining. So, actual question. Some machines are just programs, and we're going to call all of this the machine world. Some don't have physical bodies anywhere, right? Like Sati, the kid, is just a program?
She's just a computer program.
Then where's she going that she can exist? Oh, she's going to the Matrix. She wants to live in the Matrix because you can be free and you can live as a child there.
Yeah.
Where was she?
I thought she was in the Matrix and she was trying to go to, like, the beyond? I don't know.
I think they're taking the train to the Matrix.
Oh, so they're coming from...
the source. How did Neo get there?
I don't know.
He's in the real world. He stops some squids with his hand, and then he wakes up on a train station.
On the floor. Yeah.
We don't need to know why. Okay, but anyway, so sometimes machines can have children. Sometimes they can have long love affairs and they can be jealous. Sometimes they're just floating jellyfish.
Yeah.
Do all of those have elaborate personalities too? Does every one of those jellyfish have like kids at home?
And a name and like a wife? Yeah. Huh. I assume not.
Then what's the difference between how did these ones get this way?
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess they were special. The kid. That was the first
Because what was
program child?
Yeah, she was like special for some reason. I couldn't figure out why.
Because she's the first child.
Oh.
And she doesn't have a purpose. And machines are like, everything must have a purpose. Except sometimes they don't have to. But we don't talk about that. And you can't exist where she's from without a purpose. So that's why she's going to the Matrix.
Right. So
she must be a kid.
Wikipedia tells me that she's a sentient program listed for erasure in the machine world, which is where all the ships and the jellyfish are.
So that's the real world.
Yes. And
so she was a jellyfish?
I don't know. She was just a program that didn't serve a purpose. They were going to delete her. Because
she was born to two other programs who were like, one was a calculator and one was a thermostat. And then they had a child.
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
And it was this cute little girl. Yeah. And then she's going to go...
that thermostat fell in love.
Yeah. And she's going to go stay with the Oracle in the Matrix and be safe.
Right. Where you can just grow up as a kid, I guess.
Yeah. She can stay
because there's a bunch of rogue programs in there. The Oracle is one.
Yes. And there's the, there is no spoon kid.
No, well, that's a human.
Is that a human?
Yeah. Oh. That was a potential one.
Oh.
All of those kids there. The Oracle's the only program.
Did I miss all of this movie?
Well, it doesn't. It's not that it doesn't explain it. No, absolutely does not explain it well. But it also just distracts you so you don't think about it too much. They want you to think about it a lot. And that's why they try to confuse you a lot. But when they don't want you to actually figure anything out because then you just see right through this nonsense.
Which is what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, wait, no, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so sometimes you can be a sentient thermostat that falls in love and has a kid, and sometimes you're just a floating squid that just gets shot.
Yeah, that like squids around. And...
Sometimes you're a big spider robot that's made of a bunch of other robots. Sometimes you're just a building. I don't know. Sometimes you're just an Excel spreadsheet.
That sounds fun.
I don't think it is.
This movie makes me tired because of the amount of brain work that I had to do while I was doing it. Like I couldn't just like sit and enjoy it.
But also it makes me tired because I want to do the brain work, and the more you try, the less you can, because you realize that it has all the markings of something that is intellectual and deep and that you can piece together, and then it's just nonsense.
Yeah.
It's like trying to analyze a story, like I love to do. I love my deep readings. I'm an English lit major. I love to do that. But when I try to do that to a dream an 8-year-old is telling me, it falls apart real quick, right?
Yeah.
You can't put that kind of scrutiny on something like that. And that's what I'm feeling here.
Yeah. If you know me, you know I'm anti-brain work. So I think I didn't enjoy this movie because it just like is trying to make you think about it, but also not at the same time.
I think it's meant to distract you from actually thinking about it and just giving you bits and pieces of like, hey, this is something from philosophy. I read it in a book once.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next thing. Now we're going to have a fight, but this fight is so different because some of the people are walking on the ceiling. Does it give them any sort of advantage, or can they do anything cool? Nope. Why are they walking on the ceiling? Didn't do anything. They're like, still just they still have the exact same gravity. It's just on the ceiling as opposed to
They're like, don't think about it too much though. Quit it.
Terrible.
Yeah.
No, and then we see our good pal, the Merovingian again, and he's from like Underworld now. He looks like one of those vampires. He looks ridiculous. That whole club, there's a shootout right outside the front door. Nobody can hear it. But then you walk inside and go, hey, and the DJ can hear you say that.
Yeah, and there's a gun check, but everyone just has a gun anyway.
Yeah. I did write right after that scene, Agent Smith's over-the-top supervillain scenery chewing is so much better than this guy, meaning the Merovingian.
Right.
And you know what? I take it back, because later in the movie, he chews it too hard. And it was too much.
Watching him talk at the end of... Sorry, we're going to talk about the end of the movie for a second, but like, it hurt my face because he's using every single muscle in his face.
He was acting hard.
Oh my God. Nobody should have to act that hard.
You shouldn't.
Oh man.
You're going to hurt yourself.
He's going to have like lockjaw for weeks.
And then there's the big fight. Neo's eyes get melted shut. That's a thing that happens early on in this movie.
Yeah, and then he's just like blind.
But he has fire vision. He can see the code. So he can see computer-based stuff, which makes sense because he's fighting that dude that Smith has inhabited in the real world. Mm-hmm. So the code from the Matrix is now in the real world, and that's why he can see that guy and kills him.
Yeah.
Why can he see the complex cable system that he climbs up like rungs of a ladder?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't really understand, because at first I thought it was like heat vision.
Because it was all fire.
Because it was all fire, and he could see the guy who was standing in front of him. But I feel like then towards like later in that like sequence, you can see like the rungs of the ladder and all the cables and like everything in the room.
Yeah, he can just see.
Which leads me to believe that like I think he would have a really hard time differentiating between a person and everything else in the room.
You'd think.
At some point, it's just a bunch of
But he has superpowers in the real world too. Why? No answer.
Because he's magic?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no explanation for that. We thought that how the last movie ended, I said, you know what? I'm actually excited to see the next one. Not because I think this movie's great, but because I want an answer to that. That's interesting. I want to know why. Nope.
No reason.
The movie's not concerned with telling you that.
Nope.
So frustrating.
It's so frustrating. I just like don't.
And then we can just skip over the next hour because it's just robots shooting robots.
Yes, and it's very loud and there's a lot of shooting and
I just couldn't care about it.
Also, like we both said, the visuals that they gave us don't tell us anything about what's going on.
No, they would do little cutaways of someone doing something specific, but I don't even know what that was or who they were.
They also, they introduced a lot of characters that we had never seen before.
Yeah, so we have this big fight sequence, and you're like, all right, here's the big final battle. Where's Morpheus? Where's Neo? Where's Trinity? None of them are here.
No, they're all attending something
We don't
else.
even get Jada Pinkett.
No.
We get these people who have had maybe one line in the last movie, and now we have to care whether they live or die.
And now they're
I
so
just
central to the
didn't.
plot. And I'm like, okay, but like, who is this person?
And then just the actual visuals of it. The robots don't even come as individual robots. They come as a stream of, like, essentially it could be liquid, the way they move.
Yes.
And it's just one single stream. If you had 10,000 robots and there is a machine gun pointed right at you, you'd think you would spread to the side,
Scatter.
go around.
Yeah.
They go in a direct stream right towards the machine gun. And it's just, I don't think I should spend time nitpicking fights in something because, you know, it's a fight sequence in a movie. It doesn't always make the most sense. But that was so dumb.
Yeah, it really was.
And then just the idea of, okay, we have humanity versus these unfeeling robots. Although the robots kind of feel, and they also have jealousy, and they have children too. But let's not worry about that. They're unfeeling robots. How do we show the humans to be more human? I got an idea. How about we make them robot suits? So now it's just robots shooting robots, and I don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah. This whole thing, I'm like, okay, is it one big robot? Is it a million little robots? And what does them being one big robot actually do for them? Nothing.
I thought they were just a million little robots, but they were just really bad at fighting.
Yeah.
They thought like, oh, there's the machine gun. Let's all line up in a single file line and go
And
towards
swim at it.
Yeah.
Also, I still think they're underwater. I don't know.
They move like they're underwater.
They move like they're underwater. The ships move like they're underwater. I just would really like it if they were underwater. Everything would make more sense.
Remember how they have EMP technology, an electromagnetic pulse that will disrupt all robots and destroy them?
Yeah.
And they never thought to like keep one of those around in their city
Just in case.
That they know the attack is coming. They're like, oh, should we keep a bomb that destroys robots? No, we don't want any of those around here, you dummies.
And in the last movie, they're like, no, we can't send the ships out. We can't send the ships out because we're going to need to like defend.
Yeah, they could only spare those two. And the one guy,
and he's mad
Locke,
about
is so
it.
angry about it.
And then this movie, they're like,
Where are all
we
those
have
ships?
no ships.
Where'd they go?
They all left. Who knows? And then like Trinity has to drive the ship back so that there's an EMP.
Was that Trinity or that was Jada Pinkett?
It was Jada Pinkett. Sorry.
Yeah, and Morpheus.
But
and
yeah.
now they're going to get back together because her old guy is a dick.
Yes.
That guy was such an annoying character too. He just is
Shouted.
angry about everything.
He just shouted at everybody.
Oh, so now you saved everyone. Perfect. Yeah, I guess that's kind of perfect.
We
yeah.
saved mankind.
Those bad robots, the stream of octopus.
Yeah.
The octopus stream. They often seem generally disinterested in attacking people.
Yes.
They don't go towards people. They just kind of swim around in circles.
Yeah, they're like doing formations. It's like when the army is like practicing marching.
I thought it was more like a fish tank.
Oh, maybe a fish tank. But it just felt like they were like, oh, look at this maneuver we can do. Oh,
Yeah.
look at this one we can do. Oh, we can go all like this.
And sometimes they'll get shot by machine guns. Sometimes they'll just be going around on the walls. No big deal. They're just doing their thing.
And then there was like 4 of them that were into like killing people. And that was it.
But when one human, like a flesh and bone human, gets attacked by this giant swarm of, I don't know, roughly 50,000 little robots,
Yeah.
it just kind of cuts them up pretty good.
Cuts him up.
It does kill him, but you'd think it would just dismantle a person.
You'd think
one
he'd
of
be
those,
like torn apart.
one of those could easily tear a person apart.
Well, because there was like, I can't remember who they were, but like there was a woman who was going to be shooting and her partner was like,
Stabbed her leg.
you keep loading, I'll keep shooting. And that person got like squished so hard by these jellyfish things. And then other times they're like, oh, I'm just going to scratch you up a bit.
Yep. Why did they think the best design for shooting thousands of robots is essentially a big human with guns in its hands?
Yeah.
Like tanks exist.
And no like protection for the human wearing this suit.
Why is it not just a ball with a gun on the outside?
Like, put them in a little pod.
Put them in turrets all around the outside.
Yeah.
Why would they be standing in the middle, fully exposed, and you have to raise your hands, and then this machine raises its hands, and its hands have guns in it?
Yes. Fortress defenses have been a thing for like hundreds of thousands of years. Like,
do you think how it's just because they're like, well, we are people. We're going to use these robots, but these robots are going to look like people, so they know.
That we're people.
They're just like too proud
robots.
of being human that they make their robots look like humans?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, there were so many other ways that they could have defended Zion that throughout history have been used properly and successfully.
Like those bombs they have that destroy robots.
Yeah.
Put a few of those around.
Just sprinkle those around.
And I know someone's like, well, that would also disrupt their robotics. Okay. It doesn't kill them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so we don't understand robots.
No.
Sometimes they have complex emotions. Sometimes they just float around and get shot. What is Earth at this point? Is the entire Earth now just a series of cables and tubes full of cables because machines have taken over and they just want, I don't know, I guess they don't have any wireless power. They just run cables everywhere?
So there's a moment in this where they come up above the clouds and it's still like a regular night sky. So I felt like the Earth had been so polluted that it was like permanent smog and it was always in darkness.
Yes, humans did that because the robots are solar powered. So they blocked out the sun. They some sort of big cataclysmic event. They created it so it would be perpetual darkness. They never really thought, they're like, well, yeah, I guess they'll kill us too, but let's not worry about it.
Yeah.
So they did that to defeat robots that run on electricity, and there's so many different ways to create electricity. But yeah, so humans did do that, and that's...
So then I assumed that they were underground then, the humans.
The humans were, for sure.
Yeah.
But what is Earth? Because we see the machine city. We see the capital, which I believe is Robotown?
Roboton.
Roboton, yes.
I don't know where that is.
I think the entire Earth is just 2 kilometers of cable everywhere. It's just cables.
Oh.
Because throughout this movie, whenever they're flying a ship, it's going through a tunnel. They're never just in like open air.
No.
Right? They're always in a tunnel, and the tunnels are full of pipes or cables or something. Mm-hmm. That seems just so dumb. I don't know why that one thing, I think I talked about it in each movie, that frustrates me so much, that the entire world, you are creating this world. They came up with this idea of the Matrix.
Yeah.
And the Matrix is a false world and it's powered by human batteries. Wow, so inventive, so interesting. So what does the Earth look like? Just cables.
Just cables. It's like a really disorganized under-desk system.
Yeah. I disagree. I think it's a very organized under-desk system because they're all going the same way and they have tubes for all their cables.
True. You're right. It's not like there's just cables hanging around everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a very organized entertainment system down there.
That's what they came up with for what the entire Earth looks like.
Yeah.
This is the only time we get to see anything otherwise when... towards the end when she flies up above the cloud line. And that is another question. So the robots were able to enslave all of humanity, create pods that would use the humans as batteries, and then create an elaborate alternate reality for all of them to keep them complacent and not just unconscious. I don't know why they can't just be unconscious. Okay. They were able to do all of that before they could get their solar panels above the clouds.
Yeah, because you can
feel like
clearly just go up into the clouds. Yeah. They did.
Yeah.
And it looked like the beginning of a DreamWorks movie there for a minute.
Yeah. Why couldn't the robots just get up there?
Seemed nice up there. Yeah. Why aren't the robots getting up into the sun? Because I feel like most animals, if this was like an animal situation, they would figure out how to get up there.
I don't know if a bird could fly above the clouds.
But I mean, like, they'd figure out how to get to a place where there is sun.
Mars.
Space.
And then when we finally do see New Roboton, I don't know, didn't do much for me. Maybe I was already just frustrated by this point because I've watched robots shoot robots for about an hour already. And then Trinity just crashes the plane, whatever, the hovercraft. Mm-hmm. And she gets impaled and Neo can see everything. But he can't see all of these pipes sticking through Trinity.
Yeah. He's like, oh, Trin, no, stop saying you're gonna die. And then the camera pans down and you're like, oh
shit, she's gonna die.
That's not something you can live through, even if you are magical Jesus.
And we know that there is a fourth movie, so I assume Neo and Trinity are gonna be in it, so they're probably not dead. But as this was happening, I wrote down, I don't believe she's dead because she's already died already. I don't believe Neo is dead because he's already died.
Yeah.
I don't believe that Trinity is dead because she's already died.
Death doesn't seem permanent.
No.
For them. So why would I believe that that was the end?
Like, Neo's had 2 rebirths in the first movie.
Mm-hmm. I think that's one thing that frustrated me was that, like, nothing has weight to it if your heroes can just survive anything.
Yeah.
There's
They'll
no
just come back.
Point.
And then I guess in this movie, because when this came out, there wasn't any intent for a fourth movie. And for many years they said, no, there's no more movies. That's never going to happen. And then of course there is. So they meant to leave this as Trinity is dead?
Yeah.
She dies, right?
I assume so because he just like leaves her in the ship.
So I didn't even key into that because I didn't consider it because, you know, she dies all the time. No big deal. But I guess big fans of this movie are like, oh my God, she's dead.
Yeah.
What a terrible death sequence then.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you're going to be okay. Stop saying you're dying. And then he sees her, she's dying. And he's like, okay, gonna go talk to the machine now. Bye.
And she doesn't get like a final...
They don't kiss. There's nothing like...
Right? He just kind of leaves.
And
I kept thinking they'd go back to
love.
her.
They're so in love. That's what we're told the entire series.
And you know it's a good love story because they had to tell you they're in love. You never see it.
And then it's her big death scene. And he's like, Casey, bye.
Yeah. What a terrible death.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like she sacrificed herself so he would get to the next part. She just crashed. There was no reason for that. She was just bad at driving because she was too busy holding hands with this guy.
Oh, yeah, they do that
driving
whole
with one hand.
Shooting, like... Or Neo's busy like stopping all these jellyfish with his mind powers
with one hand,
and she's trying to drive the ship with one hand, and they're holding hands. Like, why did they need to hold hands in that scene? The entire time we were just like, love. If you don't hold hands, everything will be easier. Because
their love is what shows us that they are human and not robots, and that's the point of this movie. Except for all of those robots that are in love. But don't think about them.
Except for
it's almost like none of this matters.
Who fell in love and had choices and children and like...
only humans could do those things.
Nope. Except for the
robots.
Yeah. Except for the robots that can do it. And also the computer programs. Great. Yeah, that was a very disappointing death, especially for someone who's like supposed to be so important.
She just kind of happens to die. She dies in a car wreck, essentially.
And he's just leaves.
I gotta go. Bye.
He's like, I got Jesus things to do.
Oh, did he ever? So then what were your thoughts when we finally get to see the big leader of all the robots?
I was like, why is that a giant baby?
Yeah.
And what the hell is going on?
There are lots of movies where you finally have to see, maybe it's the alien, the face of God, the leader of these unknowable beings like the robots. And I gotta say, making the ultimate leader of this entire thing, even ahead of the architect, someone ahead of the Matrix, someone had to create the architect, making it a baby face with a scary voice that's always yelling and kind of freaking out is one of the worst manifestations of a big supreme leader I've seen in film. Also, I just hated it.
Did we know that we were going to meet the leader of the robots? Was that something that we talked about earlier in the movie?
I'm not sure, but I thought that's where it was going.
Okay.
Because he was going to go broker a deal, so I assumed there had to be like a representative.
I assumed he was just going to go talk to Smith, because at this point, Smith
No,
is
but
like...
Smith's against the robots at this point.
I don't know.
That's why the big baby says, like, okay, you can go kill Smith, and we'll not kill the people.
Mm-hmm. I was like, who's this baby? I don't understand why we're here. I don't understand what you're trying to do. Like, what are we even talking about? And then I'm like, why are you plugging into their stuff? You don't know if they're just going to enslave you.
So I did get it. It doesn't make more sense, but Neo's going there to broker a deal, a truce. Mm-hmm. And I kind of appreciate that, like, oh yeah, this isn't going to end with one side killing the other. It actually is ending with a truce, with a stalemate, with a balance. And I guess that sometimes they do touch on things about equilibrium and balance. I guess. I'm really trying hard to give this movie some credit. Uh-huh. So he's going there to broker a deal. The big baby is, I don't know, I guess it's millions of robots together making the face, maybe?
Yeah.
Showing that they don't have a singular leader, maybe?
Seemed like the squid guys were doing it.
Yeah. Or maybe it was spider guys at this point.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
And Neo says, well, you got this Smith dude, and he's going to kill all of you guys, too. He's already killed all of humanity, I guess, in the Matrix. Because there's no people left in the Matrix. Every single person has been taken over by a Smith.
Right.
So he said, he's already got us. He's coming for you guys next. So why don't you let me get back in the Matrix? Because he couldn't get there before because he couldn't get the train.
Right. Yeah.
You need a train in. You can't just get into the Matrix. Although constantly they are on their ships going into the Matrix. But don't worry about that. This is a different one.
Different.
Yeah, why didn't he just go up from his ship? He could have jacked in and gotten into the Matrix. He could have done it right there.
Yeah.
But I guess he didn't need to broker the deal first. So he says, let me in there. I'll go kill him. You don't kill my guys. Deal? And the big baby's like, yeah, you got a deal, bro. Here you go. Jack into this. But first, put your arms like this so you look more like Jesus. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You got it. Go get him. Then he goes in there. And this fight made no sense to me either. I think the big final fight with Smith is the worst fight he's had in the trilogy. He's fought him in every movie. I think this was the worst one.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because I loved how in the first ones you could actually see the fight. I was talking about Wu Ping and his fight choreography, and you can see like, oh, this is why he got to do those big movies after that, because this was fantastic. We commented on how you could tell that these were the actors doing the things, and that's what made it so impressive. We were talking about how they didn't cut around, they let you see the things, and how it was grounded in reality, but then when they would do something with their special powers, it would seem so much more impressive because you're seeing a guy do all these and you're like, that's a human, an impressive human, but a human. Mm-hmm. And then they do something extra where they like run up a wall and you're like, wow, that's amazing. I love this. This is so much fun. And it was real world, but with slightly heightened things. And now we have these CG Supermen just flying around the city.
Yeah.
And it seemed utterly meaningless. I just didn't care about these people because they didn't seem like people at all.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you what was happening in a very literal sense for much of it.
And how many different places they were in during their fight. Because it was just like, it was so choppy and pointless.
There was one sequence when they are in like the dojo type thing.
Yeah.
And they're silhouetted and they do a hand-to-hand fight for like 30 seconds. And it's like, okay, we are going to return back to this. No,
to the
they
original.
explode out and then they fly around the city some more. And the CG versions of them flying around too, so they seem especially bendy and weird.
Yeah, the movement of them didn't make a lot of sense. And then also, just gonna like be a downer about the rain and stuff, but like clothing doesn't move like that in the rain.
Well, people don't move like nothing moves like any of us.
Yes, but that just like took me out of it because I'm like, there's no way that Neo would be fighting in a floor-length coat in this much rain. It would just be stuck to him, and he wouldn't be able to move his legs.
And it's constantly flapping around,
and it's like flying. It has its own gravity rules, and it's like constantly skirting around and stuff, whereas like in the real world it would just be stuck to you. You'd just be like bound up by your coat.
Yeah, and that just shows you that this is not real anymore. No. And it just makes me feel like, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah. These aren't people doing anything. This rain isn't real rain. Like, what do I even care about this anymore?
Exactly.
And like, I didn't care.
It annoyed me because I was like, why did it need to be this heavy of rain?
And then this is where Agent Smith does that speech that I think was the worst acting I've seen from Hugo Weaving. And he's just screaming and baring his teeth and being 3,000% evil. And he's like, look how evil I am. Ah. So this part I have some questions about. Okay. What actually happens? Because Smith has taken over everyone, including the Oracle, so he can see the future. So he has this whole argument in his own head, but we are not privy to any of it. Because he'll be like, no, yes, I'm going to win, aha. But nothing actually happened. He's just talking to himself in his head, seeing possible futures, I assume.
I assume he's getting Oracle vision. So
we're like back in that determinist thing of this is the outcome and I know it. And then Neo says, but I can choose. You're like, oh, okay. Choose to what? Choose to fight, choose to love, choose to live. Are you going to tell me anything more? No, he's just saying like, I have choice, the end. And his choice is to fulfill the original prophecy.
Yeah.
So there was no choice. You were as fatalistic. You were the most fatalistic of everyone.
You just did what you were told was going to happen.
Yeah.
Great. Like.
So he wins by letting Smith absorb him, turn him into another Smith. And then he just explodes him from the inside.
And all the other Smiths.
How?
Magic.
Your big finale from these 3 movies is just he loses, but then, oh no, wait, actually he didn't.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, oh, you think he lost? Surprise, he didn't. How? Don't worry about it. He actually is the winner. It's like I play a lot of games with 6-year-olds. And I was like, okay, I won. And like, no, you didn't. I won. And that's it. That's the argument. Okay. And you're like, oh, okay. I guess you did. The end.
So does Neo die in the end of the movie?
Yeah. Well.
So is everybody dead? Like.
Not Morpheus.
Oh, sorry. Everybody but Morpheus is dead.
Well.
And the people in the cave.
Trinity and Neo are dead.
Yes.
But I think also not, because they've each died once already.
A whole other
Neo
movie.
might have died a couple times.
Yeah.
So then he gets like pulled away from the machines in his Christ pose again.
Uh-huh. And the machines carry him away.
Yeah. And I thought we were going to get another thing where he wakes up and Trinity wakes up, but no. I would be furious. I was already annoyed.
Yeah, you were.
And I didn't like this movie. If you were a big fan of these and then you finally get to see like this is the end and that's how it ends?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't imagine how angry I would be. But I guess people are like, no, that's cool. He's dead, but
could you imagine if you'd had to wait like 2 years to find that out?
Well, I think yes, because from the end of the first one, I could wait for a long time because that movie has an ending and you're like, cool, the end.
Yeah.
The ending of the second one, I would really want to know what happens because he has all these superpowers.
Yeah.
And you only have to wait 6 months. But then when you see the next movie, it doesn't actually answer the questions you had from the second one. Mm-hmm. It just gives you a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
And then this is the one that has the most frustrating ending, I think.
Yeah. Because you're like, that's it?
Now it's over.
They're just dead. Okay, great.
So you had an hour to show me robots shooting at clouds of robots, but you don't have like 5 minutes to give me any closure on our 2 main characters?
Yeah, we have an hour of robot synchronized swimming and guns. But no, they're just dead. That's it. The end. Bye.
So then what is happening? The 2 of them are dead, but we assume like, no, not really.
Probably
though.
Not dead.
The Matrix reboots, which is what the architect wanted in the first place.
Yeah.
And Neo's like, I have choice. I'm not going to do that. That's why I'm different. But then he just does it.
He just goes ahead and does it.
Each movie takes the main point of the previous movie and says, oh yeah, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's nonsense. None of that
Don't worry
was a
about
thing.
it. We are doing the exact thing that we said we wouldn't do in the last one. Now we just do it, but now it's our choice.
But what if everything you knew was wrong?
Yeah. Oh, man. So each human is dead because Smith, all the humans in the Matrix, that is.
Yes.
They're all dead because Smith took them over, and now Neo has destroyed all the Smiths.
Like blew them up.
So every pod person is dead?
Yeah, where are they getting all their energy from?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Maybe that comes up in the next one. But they have a new Matrix, but now we have the little girl, and she's in this one, and she invents sun because they didn't have that before. It was always a green tinged, and now we have this brilliant sunrise.
Yeah.
And she said, I made that. I made it for Neo.
How?
I don't know. She's a program. Maybe she's a sun making program.
Oh, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Great. That makes as much sense as anything else.
She's a program living in a computer program so she can control things.
Yeah.
Just like the Oracle can see the future, I guess. I don't know.
How many times during this movie did someone just randomly say, Neo?
That's what I was going to say. People whisper Neo so often. They pray to him like God.
Yeah.
Constantly.
They're just like, Neo.
Neo, help us.
Neo, where are you? Neo, I miss you.
For the love of Neo.
Yeah. It's just the amount of times that happen. You could play a real good drinking game just on when people just like wistfully say his name, because it's constantly happening, and it doesn't have anything to do with what you're actually watching at any point in the movie. It's not people are like, help me, Neo, I'm dying. It's like, Neo goes back to shooting.
Yeah.
Just like, there's no point.
So in the end, the Matrix is rebooted, which Neo was fighting against, but then he does because he's a fatalist at heart. And there are no people in the Matrix, though, because they all died. And people in the real world still live underground, and there's still robots controlling the Earth. And then what? That seems terrible. Like, we leave off where we started.
Yeah.
This is essentially just Matrix 1 now.
Yeah.
So none of this mattered, is what you're saying.
Nope.
Nope.
Doesn't that make you feel good?
Oh, God.
Doesn't that make you feel like you wasted all your time?
Yeah, and now we had to talk about it, too. I have to waste this hour complaining about it. Now I'm going to have to waste a couple hours editing me complaining about a movie, and then I get to relive it all over again. And then we still have another movie to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts?
I have so many other things that I wrote down, and I was trying to, like, you know how if there's a movie I love, and sometimes those can be like really complicated too, and not everything's on the surface, and there's a lot of ambiguity into them. And I say like, no, but it's good because I tried to do that for this, and I can't convince myself. Like, I was going to talk about, oh, well, there's this cool thing about choice versus determinism. But no, everyone who says they're all about free will undermines that all the time. All the determinists undermine that all the time. I was going to talk about maybe how the ambiguous end and this very tenuous piece that they have, what that means and how that's a part of human nature. But I don't know. It doesn't matter. That's what they had before, right? Like, none of this matters.
Yeah.
And I think they're maybe trying to say something about balance and cycles and renewal. But if you make us watch 3 movies and then you just end it with like, oh yeah, now we can just watch the first one again because none of this mattered. You're just going to end up in the same place. That's the most fatalistic thing. This movie is all about how choice is what separates us from not only machines, but animals. We have this extra thing that makes up our humanity, is the will to choose. And when we were put in no choice situations within those other versions of the Matrix, we rebel because humanity needs that. And then we watch 3 movies where a guy who is the savior of humanity just does what he was fated to do in the first place by some computer program. Like, he doesn't have choice. He does exactly what was expected of him. And they say, oh, but he has love. That's something that's so unique. That's what's going to break him out of this. All the computers are in love all the time.
Constantly.
It didn't break him out of it. He's renewing the cycle again. None of this mattered. This whole thing about love as a transcendent force or this power of free will, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. You know what? Maybe this movie is secretly not a bad movie about determinism versus free will, but actually a great movie about nihilism because nothing mattered here.
Yeah.
That's my final thought.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters. Nothing matters. Don't try.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know that I have like a big wrap up speech. I think this movie was dumb. I think it was kind of nonsense and not in a fun way.
Can't wait for the next one.
I can't wait to watch another Matrix movie.
Oddly enough, I am kind of excited about it, and I think it'll be better.
Okay.
I don't know.
I believe you.
I think it'll be better than this one.
I agree.
So far, how do you rank the 3 Matrix movies? 1, 2, 3?
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. We're just getting worse by the
1 was good.
movie.
2 was kind of bad, and 3 was terrible. All right. See you next week for the next one.
See you next week for Matrix Resurrections.
Ooh.
So spooky. Oh, it's called Resurrections. They're totally alive.
Oh, yeah. We knew they were
We knew they were going to be alive. No one can kill them or their love.
You could have called Matrix 1 Resurrections.
Yeah.
You could have called the second one Resurrections.
He literally resurrects her.
Yes. He was resurrected himself.
Yeah.
Twice.
And then, yeah.
We'll do it again.
Then we'll do it again, I guess. Okay. See you next week. I was like, who's this baby? I don't understand why we're here. I don't understand what you're trying to do. Like, what are we even talking about?